is tragedy. We find unity when we come together. Racism, we feel shame. No one wants to take the blame. Through the fire we all will hang. With love we can change when we all come together. So much pain, so much pain, so much sorrow, so much sorrow. So much love, so much love for a better tomorrow. For a better tomorrow. The drugs and the gangs. How much more can we stand? A drug can take away the hopes and dreams of a mother's plan. Bless the fathers. Bless the mothers. Bless all the little children. Come together. Come together.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning somewhere out there in the world. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. Sorry for my delay, but I'm going to blame the chef or cook. I was ordering some wings, and then I ordered them to go, and then I got them for there, and then I had to wait to get them to go. But we're here, and that's all that matters. It's 10 minutes after the hour. And you're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. The views expressed by the callers and the hosts are necessarily the views are of WLTH radio management, owner, and sponsors. It's certainly a great Thursday evening. Remember, this is Sound Off with E.V.E. the evening drive at 5. Thank you for joining me today. And we're going to have some guests for those of you that are streaming live. You guys can wave. The camera's over there. You guys aren't camera shy, aren't you? Oh. I hope not, because if you are, you're messed up. You guys didn't read lips, did you? No. But it's certainly a great Thursday and Throwback Thursday. We're going to talk about some history, and these gentlemen and a lady have some history, but it's more than anything, they got some information to share with you. Remember that what I bring here is something that you should know, and I want to thank those that are streaming with me. Shout out to Arizona, shout out to California, to Texas, to Las Vegas, and whoever else is watching us out here and in the region here. This is the region's choice, Sound Off with E.V.E. If I sound kind of funny, I got a mint in my mouth, so I do apologize, but more than anything, if you are willing to sound off or wanting to ask questions to our guest that we have here today, please do so at 219-885-1371. This is Sound Off with E.V.E. And how about today's weather? Beautiful or crummy?
Crummy.
Oh, you guys are so negative. Beautiful. We need rain. The flowers have that food that is needed, right?
Yes.
Water, flowers, trees, grass.
We had enough water.
Now we need sun.
How many feet of snow?
Oh, you need sun is always there. I'm sorry.
Sometimes.
I mean, feet of snow, well, all that melted down into water. So we have been getting plenty of water, let me tell you. But it wasn't that much of a bad day without with the exception of rain. But I will tell you that the weather's going to get a little better. You guys ready for that?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I think everybody's wanting that, right?
Definitely.
Well, let's see. I was out in Crown Point and it was raining. It was raining on my head or my hair, so I apologize if it was a bad hair day here today. Too bad, but it was 38 degrees and it was raining the last time I was in Crown Point. Duty calls. As an interpreter, I do go to court in different places. Today was out in Juvie. So shout out to those that are listening from Juvie, to all the bailiffs that I swear that they need to do a fashion show because they're trying to outdo each other. If you guys have ever gone to Lake County Juvenile Center and you look at these bailiffs, they're all decked out with their suit and ties, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice tie. Oh, that's a nice shirt. Oh, that's a nice suit. And I even told them, you ought to do a fashion show, the bailiff's fashion show. Well, it certainly was as high as 54 degrees. For those of you that didn't see the sun, you probably said, yeah, right. But it's going to drop to 41 degrees. But what's going to happen this weekend? Well, let's see. Come this Friday, we're going to have a high 47 degrees, and it's going to drop to 30 degrees, but that's okay. The sun is still going to be there. You just got to know that it's there. The clouds just happen to cover it up just a tad bit. But when I left Crown Point, I did see the sun. Not really see the sun, but I knew that it was there because in that area, it was more bright than other areas. Do we have a call, or did you decide to go off the air? Okay.
It was Vic. He wanted to say that you were right on about the sunshine comment, and the stuff that falls down from the sky is liquid sunshine.
Hello. Thank you, Vic. You're so right. But you see, it's all about perception. The sun doesn't go anywhere. It's just the clouds that happen to pass through and covered it up. So we are all about perception. What we think isn't always what is, right? But as far as the weather is going to be 47 tomorrow, Friday, and it's going to drop to 30. And then come Saturday, high 43, low 29. And Sunday, you guys ready for some heat wave?
Yeah.
You guys ready for your shorts and flip-flops and t-shirts?
Get my bike out.
58 degrees and sunny. Monday, get this, cloudy, but 64 degrees.
That's 2 days of bike riding.
I'll say and sunny, but the clouds just be in the way, that's all. And it's going to drop to 37, and then Tuesday, 47, partly cloudy, low 30, and come Wednesday, we're expecting some showers, high 48 in the morning, and it's going to drop at night to 45 degrees. That's not bad, is it?
No, and if you don't see the sun, bring your own with your own radiant smile.
Hello, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm talking about. The sun is always shining. It's just perception of what you seem to think is or isn't. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio. I want you to follow me on Facebook. It's at official EveG, and thank you for those that are following me right now. And you guys got to see my beautiful sunshine thanks to my board op that put that picture all together, just so people know how to find EVE. And that's at official EVG. And the YouTube, remember to go to youtube.com/user/official EVG. I guess that candy in my mouth is not helping me talk, but I want to thank you for coming on and joining me every day. But we have some important people today. And as I put out there in social media, on YouTube, on Twitter, if you are a veteran or you know someone, I think that everyone has to give them a sort of sense of respect. And I want to thank you guys, lady and gentlemen, to come on today because something that you guys do sticks out. And not many people know about it. Because if EVE doesn't know about it, then you know many people don't know about it. So I'm going to start out with, to my left, to the right, introduce yourselves and what rank or what position or what title or whatever you want to call it that you do. And you guys are sharing the mic, so put it close to you.
My name is Harry Stumpf. I'm actually coordinating the funerals with the funeral homes and the team. But we all do various jobs. There's no rank in our organization.
My name is Gail Gallich. I'm a member of American Legion Post 180 in Highland. Shout out.
Hey, to the Highlanders out there from Highland.
And I usually take the role of the chaplain at the funeral services for the Department of Defense Honor Guard team.
My name is John Rosbach. I'm from American Legion Post 100 in Lake Station. It's another shout out.
To the Lake Station, all right.
And I do the talking. I say the prayers and give the commands.
So you tell them what to do. Is that what you're saying? You give the commands?
They don't listen to me anyway.
You just know you're important. That's all that matters.
And I'm Bob Tiz, Post 100 Lake Station. I'm what's called a sergeant of the guard, which John gives me the commands, and I maintain the guard to do the Valley of Three and the taps and everything. That's what we mainly do.
So there's something special that you guys do that, and I want to thank my brother. I can't, let go of what was the source or who was the source that connected us together. And that was my brother Mike. I don't know what you guys know him as, but that's Miguel Mike Gomez. And he said, no, because he's always like, we got a funeral to go to. We got a funeral to do this. And sometimes people say, well, is that a job? Are you employed by somebody, or what do you do? Something that makes you guys all special is that you do this all on your own, am I right?
It's all
Correct.
volunteer.
Volunteer.
Everything that we do is for honor, pride, and dignity to serve the vets from all wars and non-wars that are honorably discharged to have the full military right funeral if we're able to go. There's a lot of times that we just can't get enough people to take and do a funeral. I have a mission statement, if I may read it.
Yes, by all means.
We are a nonprofit, non-funded organization trained and certified by the Indiana Department of Defense to assist all veteran and active duty military funeral honors teams. We will, when called upon, perform chapel or graveside services that will include as necessary commander, chaplain, bugler, a live firing team, and a graveside military patriotic decor, which is the Soldier's Cross and flags. We will also, on occasion, if it arises, we will fold and present the burial flag. Our group is not affiliated directly with any veteran service organizations. American Legion Post 100 Lake Station has supported our organization with house-based weapons, ammunition, and volunteers, and that's our base of operation. We are composed of veterans from all branches of the service and service organizations, and we also welcome civilians into this program, male or female, who wish to take and do this program, and they have to go through training to get full certification. When we go out, we are the military.
And here's the thing, and I didn't know that you existed. And when it was told to me, hey, Eve, this is what, we do, how about bringing them on? And I said, well, yeah, people need to know. And when I asked someone that is a veteran and say, hey, did you know that the D.O.D, the Defense of your Funeral Honor Gaurd, do this? No, I did not. I said, oh, well, then you need to know. This is something that comes from your heart because you already said it in your mission. You said that you do this voluntarily. And it comes from the heart when you do something voluntarily. I don't think any one of you is looking for a reward, an award, compensation, pat in the back. I see you guys are doing this because of who you're laying to rest. Not so much the friends or the community or who's going to say what, but for the person that just died that served the country. Am I correct?
That's right.
That's correct.
Yes.
The compensation we receive is the pride that we feel for honoring our fallen comrade, and our payment is the thanks and the gratitude that we receive from the family members for honoring their loved one.
And that's the ticket. That's what you get from doing what you're doing. And, I volunteer a lot, and just to see what difference I'm making is my reward, just to see somebody smiling.
Absolutely.
And for you to say to the family members that are grieving to a fallen soldier, this is what we can do for you, that gives them a sense of peace, shall I say?
Yes.
To say that someone recognized what my brother, my sister, my father, my grandfather did for this country. Now, I'm one that say, you know what, these soldiers that are out there coming back in bags, shame on the government that's sending them out there because the war is here within our own country. But for you guys to do what you're doing, that stands out. And what exactly is the name of your organization? Any one of you?
It's American Legion Post 100 Department of Defense Honor Guard.
And how long you've been out here?
We started, it was about 7 years ago. I was a commander of Post 100 in Lake Station, and at that time, we were only doing funeral honors for our own members. But then our director of our group, Don Teskey, and I, we got together and we said, why don't we do this for everyone? So our group started to form, and we started doing funerals when called upon from the funeral homes to go ahead and to do the honors. And it since that happened, has grown and grown, and we're up to, I believe it's a little bit over 36 members that we have now. And it's more than an honor that we do this. It's more than an honor. These guys go ahead and laugh at me because I get choked up at every single funeral, and tears are shed. I don't know the guy or the gal, but it's something that comes from deep down inside that just compels me to go out and to do the services.
All of you have served in the military one way or
Yes.
another?
Yes.
What, each and every one of you, please let me know what military did you serve and when, what wars, if any, you had to go through?
I was in the Army. I was in Vietnam, 1969, 1970. I got out in 74.
Gail Gallich, United States Army, November 1980 to April 1988.
John Rossback, United States Air Force, 1964 to 1968. And I was stationed at Bunker Hill Air Force Base in Peru, Indiana.
Bob Tibbs, I was United States Army, Vietnam, 2 tours, 68 and 69.
So you know what it's all about
Yes.
firsthand. You know how it feels to come back and expect what? Did you get what you expected when you came back?
When I came back, as I entered the Seattle airport for a flight home to Chicago, I was spit on. That was my welcome home.
Welcome home. I love
And
you
they said
very.
that we would never let that happen to any vets again.
And I've heard that, and I know it's not hearsay, and I know it's not gossip, and I know it's not just a story. I know it's a fact. I heard from some that came back from Vietnam and how they were not respected. Did you, any one of you else?
Well, I was Vietnam when I got back to Chicago Airport and had these flower childs or radicals come up to me and spit on my uniform. Totally upset me for what I'd done for my country to be treated this way.
Wow. How did that make you feel?
Maybe hurt. It hurt really bad that what I'd done for my country and for my family and everyone to come home and be treated like I'm nobody. You know, it hurts really bad.
But you know you have a family here
And now I have a family.
that can relate
Oh, yes.
to what you felt, and that you know you're not alone. And maybe they had a sense of a different perception of you when you were out there. There were stories that you child killer, you just went and killed just to kill. How could you do this? How could you do that? When they weren't there to really know what you guys were going through.
True.
True, I think a lot of it had to do with the press at the time, that nobody really understood what was going on. People were tired of the war. The government, I'm sorry to say,
Don't be sorry if it's true.
turn their back on the military and just let the press go wild with everything. And it got to be pathetic of what was actually coming out. They wanted numbers, just the best, to put up scores. And half the stuff that came out. The Walter Cronkite deal was the one that really turned everybody against the country and against the war. Well, his reporting of blowing up and overhyped news reports, that's what really started it.
And media can be good and can be the evil as well.
That's true.
Because media can distort things to what's to their advantage to make it a story to hit ratings. Well, gentlemen and ladies, I'm not here to get ratings. I'm here to hear your story and to let everybody that's listening here on WLTH Radio, you're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E., where I say this is real talk about real issues with real people. They're here in flesh and blood. It's not something that you're reading from a newspaper or something that you saw in some channel, whatever media, but they're here live to tell you that they're doing something to pay their respects for someone that went out there to serve a military because they've been there and done that. Tell us, what services do you really go out and do? Because I was like, wow, speechless when you said that you actually escort them from an airport, and not many people know that. So we need to know what exactly that you do. What services do you do?
Well, the escorts from the airport, that's the Indiana Patriot Guard. Bob Tibbs and myself, we ride with the Guard. John Rossenbach and Gail here, they have actually been as Legion members at the airport too for the KIAs coming in, or active duty send-offs and return. Our D.O.D. team of function is strictly military funerals. We assist any branch of the service, the active duty, Indiana National Guard soldiers who are active or reservists that are usually the ones that are doing all the folding of the flags and presenting. We assist with the fire teams, we assist with the live bugler, and we assist with being pallbearers if we have to, because we've had funerals where the families had 2-3 people show up, so we become the pallbearers. And if we have to, we will fold with the military. If they're short or they're required, we fold with them. But we go with the military as the lead. Our team leader is Sergeant Brown out of the Indiana National Guard, was Staff Sergeant Wright, but he's being deployed. So we work very closely with the National Guard contacts for the Army part all the time. I talk to them every day. So they are our leaders. We've been certified by the state through the State Department of Defense. And our ribbon, if you notice.
You can look that way. They're on the camera. If you can see it, you guys see that by their left pockets.
He does that, not
Yeah.
me.
Then you'll be saying, what are you trying to show?
This ribbon is the Funeral Honors ribbon that was created by the state of Indiana for all veterans, active duty National Guard, reservists, etc., civilians too that are in a certified D.O.D. team that have done over 50 funerals in 2 years when they first created the ribbon. Well, ours was, it was very easy. By now, we're almost 300 plus from the time the ribbon was issued in 2012. Is that correct, 2012?
Yeah.
And we are trying to get more people involved, if we can, that want to do this. And it's all about dignity, pride, and honor. You're going to have training, you're going to look military, you're not going to have earrings and tattoos in the face or anything. You're going to go out like a military unit, because when we go out, that's what we are. We make kid, joke, and everything else with each other. But when that funeral hearse starts coming in, it's a whole different story. And that's what we're trying to really get across, is because we need people. Because if we could get more people and train more, we can put more teams out, because there's times, unfortunately, we simply have to turn down funerals, because at the same time, lately, we've been able to have enough where we're cutting the teams in half and covering 2 funerals at the same time. But unfortunately, we need more people that want to do this. And it doesn't matter, people work, we understand that. But you might be able to pick up a Saturday funeral or a Saturday night funeral.
But
That's
you
what we're
have
looking
you
for.
have a lot of veterans that just sit at home not knowing that they can do something like this.
That's-
Which is why I said it's so important. You guys need to come out here because I'm sure some veterans are listening that instead of sitting home exercising their thumb with the remote control, they might want to do something like this. They feel just like how you all are feeling. That hard. Instead of doing the remote, use the trigger as you guys do the 21 salutes. I believe we have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You are on the air.
Well, hey, first I want to say to your veterans, welcome home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vic.
I was there from 68 to 70. I was one of the Delta River guys. You know, one of the most all the guys, all the young men and women I talked to coming at the vet at Jesse Brown or ABJ or even Hines. You know what's the one thing they say? We need jobs. We need living wage jobs. That's the most important thing for a man and a woman to do is be able to have a job and earn a living.
That's so true.
Everybody, I mean, 9 people out of 10, that's what they say. The most important thing, we need jobs.
I don't know if you were aware, but I saw it on the news yesterday. There was on Hiring Our Heroes. There was a job fair at the McCormick Center, and they will be putting more on, and they will be being advertised. And I know periodically I see them being advertised. I volunteer on Wednesdays at the ABJ clinic because I feel it's my obligation, my duty to my country, to my fellow comrade here in Lake County. There's job fairs that go on at the ABJ clinic, at Jesse Brown, at Hines. And, you know, you just need to hit up their websites and they tell you what their calendar is every month. And usually one of these VA centers is having a job fair that, you know, usually hire vets first.
Yeah, well, that's a really good thing.
Good
You know,
information.
the one thing, if you want to advocate for something, reshore our manufacturing jobs and or create our own green manufacturing jobs. Right here, right now. That's what our people need. Okay, because I mean, that's just what people need.
Well,
If you want to earn a living, you got to produce something. If you're not producing, if you're only a service person, well, there's a limit where you're going to go. If you're working production, you get paid on how much you produce. But anyway, I appreciate
some of that
it.
is
and
some
God
of that is
bless.
factual. Thank you, Vic, for calling in. Some of that is factual, but this is the aftermath. This is the people that already have probably retired, have a passion to do what they're doing. And Vic, you're a military person. You are a veteran. You have a lot of time in your life, along with many other veterans that are sitting home, reading, being very knowledgeable. Utilize all that knowledge that you have and that energy that you still have to be part of this, to be part of the D.O.D. You were just saying you need people, right?
That's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Need people.
So come on, Vic, step up to the plate. Join them.
Yeah, well, here, look, here's the, think about this for a minute. If there is no common public dialogue demanding manufacturing coming back, because it was legislated out of the country, okay, it could be legislated back into the country.
Well, let's work on that, Vic, but in the meantime, we have fallen soldiers that are still coming back in bags. All right?
I will not go to a funeral. I won't be a color guard because I can't take that.
Well, I understand that, and not everybody can, but we have to let people know that they're still coming back in bags. And we have some military people, some veterans that have that much respect to know what it's like and give them that at least until they're in the ground.
I'm a life member of D.A.V. I'm a life member of the VFW. I'm a life member of the VVA. You know, when I had my vim and vigor, I was trying to fight for us to have acknowledgement that dioxin is an extreme carcinogen. When we first came back, it wasn't the hippies. It was really the people that put us there in the first place. And they never had to pay for that. We've been suffering over this stuff for 40 years. The people that put us there for profit. For profit.
Vic, I want to say thank you so much for your service as well, but we do have a member on our team, and part of his therapy is he does come to do these funerals. He doesn't do very many of them because it's very hurtful for him.
Yeah, I can't take it. I can't take it. I've done it once, and I've had a lot of friends with the color guard, the VFW.
No matter where you go in the world, and you see somebody with some kind of military paraphernalia on, a hat, a T-shirt, a buckle, something, you know you can go up to that person and say, "Thank you for your service, brother. I love
Exactly.
That's right. Go to the Veterans Hospital and say hi to somebody, or go to the Veterans Hospital and buy somebody a cup of coffee, or tell them where, go out there and find them and tell them where they could find a job.
Exactly. And is that what you're doing, Vic? Because if you
That's
are,
what
I
we
commend
do.
you.
That's what we do.
Many more people need to do that. Thank you so much for sounding off here with EVE. Thanks,
Yes,
Vic.
ma'am. Thank you, Eve.
Continue to listen. You're listening to Sound Off with EVE. Anyone else that wants to sound off, please do so. 219-885-1371. I have the D.O.D, which stands for
Department of Defense Honor Guard.
Department of Defense Honor Guard, Funeral Honor Guard. Now, how do we know to get a hold of you? Where can we find you? Because I'm sure that there's people that are listening that either are veterans or have someone in the military, or that someone had passed away and they wish they would have known this information so they can be laid to rest with the utmost respect.
We don't really want to get calls from the
Okay.
families.
You get them from the funeral homes,
From
or
the
how do we
funeral
get to
homes.
know about you?
Yes, because we have found out that if Joe happens to go on to pass away, then every family member is calling us, plus the funeral home, and it becomes nothing but a cluster.
So maybe the families can let the funeral
homes know
Okay,
in
all
the
right,
area.
okay.
And most of them in the area, they do know about us.
What area you predominantly have been really mostly busy that other areas maybe not as busy because maybe they don't know about you?
It's very busy in Crown Point, Lake Station, here in Gary, in Hobart, Portage, Highland, just about all of Lake County.
Maryville.
And in Maryville.
We go into Chicago.
Most of these funeral homes, from what I understand, when these DOT teams were started, were supposed to be,
Regional.
they were all informed of this. The funeral directors, it's up to the family to decide if they want the whole thing. Some families cannot handle taps and the gun salute. And we respect that. But all we ask of these funeral homes is just to offer it to them.
Yeah,
Say,
let them be the ones to
this is
decide.
available, do you want it or not? And
Exactly.
I feel personally that there's some funeral homes that just don't do it because you see way too many
right.
veterans in the paper going through these funeral homes, but you don't get any phone calls.
Okay, I believe we have a couple of callers. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air here with EVE.
Hi, my name's Don Teskey. You've got some of my boys on there.
Hey, well, how come you're not here, John? Hey, John, how come you're not here?
I've got a little problem here at home. I've got some medical problems that I'm taking care of, and I haven't been able to serve with the boys.
Don's our commander.
Hi, buddy.
I'm sure they certainly miss you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to add a few things that these guys have already said, that they are not the only funeral team in the area. We have several other groups that are working. We have the Holly Mad Division out of Hobart, which is a Marine Corps division, and they handle mostly Marine Corps funerals, but they will cross over and help us if we need them. We have Post 54, which is a Legion post out of Hobart, which we certified, and they are active, mostly on weekends. We have 369 out of East Chicago, which is one of the biggest posts in the state, and they have an honor guard team. And one of their chaplains just died, a really active guy, John Balso. So there are other teams in the area, but we're trying to form up additional teams in the area to help us with the load that we're carrying. And it would be more than welcome if any of the guys from the posts are listening to get a hold of us and let us know that they're interested. We will help them get certified. We will help them train and get certified. And we do need the help. It's getting to be quite a load. And these guys that you got on there right now are my key men. They're the center of this
Thank
whole
you.
group.
So I feel privileged to have met them here and have them here on WLTH Radio. Thank you so much, Commander, and I pray that all goes well with you and the health, and we got to just keep moving forward. And anyone that's listening out there, you guys heard from them. There's a lot of veterans out there doing nothing but sitting at home wondering what should we do with our lives. Well, continue to make a difference in somebody else's life, somebody else's family. Show the respect that you know that you deserve by giving it to someone else as well.
Yeah, a little history on my own part. It was, like I said, it was about 7 years ago, and Commander Don and I got together to do the honors for our own post. But it was during that time that I went to Washington, D.C. to mainly just to see the memorials. And as I walked into the Vietnam Memorial, and every step that I took further down, there was not a warmth, but there was a tremendous heat that was taking over my body. Now, I never served in Vietnam, but when I got down to the bottom, I was bawling like a baby, and I don't know why that happened. That experience of going to D.C. and going into the memorial was the most moving experience that I ever had in my life. And to this day, I still don't know why, but I think it's more or less with the brotherhood and sisterhood, the fraternity and the sorority that we have with our veterans. It's very, very, very moving. I was in Branson, Missouri last year with my wife, and there was this elderly gentleman. He had to be in his late 80s, and he had an Army hat on. And I went up to him and I said, "Thank you, my brother, for your service." This old man grabbed me and hugged me so hard until it hurt, and he said, "Nobody ever said that."
Simple words can do so much for you.
Yes.
Just to say thank you. And I did hear from fallen soldier, well, not fallen soldiers, but those that went through and saw their friends, their comrades, their buddies go down during that Vietnam War. And I feel you. And those of you that are listening to WLTH Radio, you're not here physically to feel the passion and the compassion that these gentlemen and lady have here right now. But I can tell you that they are real. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio. The call-in number is 219-885-1371. And I know that we had a caller. Please call back, 219-885-1371. We want to hear what your thoughts are. We want to hear that you say, I want to be part of this. Where do I go? Where do I sign up? What can I do? Because there are a lot of veterans out there that are retired, that are at home, and not making a difference, and maybe feeling bad for themselves, that maybe by doing something for someone or giving back or just sharing that compassion with that family member at that funeral home or at that graveside can probably help you out as well to deal with what you're dealing with on your own. Am I right?
That's correct.
That's right.
There is just no way to really describe the feeling you get doing these funerals, because it's such an honor, what it means to these families. And you're talking about history. You're talking about World War II vets, Korea, Gulf War, and just about any other type of deployment you can see. We've actually been getting involved with guys that just got out. They were stateside, that are young guys that got killed or whatever, and we're at their funerals. And what it means to the family, the words can't describe what you get feedback. Recently, I was helping a buddy at a house. That's how I got a nail wound. A woman that owns the house came walking up and said, "I know you." And I didn't even know who she was. And it was She says, "You're one of the guys in black. We did her father's funeral a year and a half ago." But that's what it meant so much to her by seeing me there that she remembered from that funeral what that funeral meant to her. And that's the kind of feeling you get out of this. Yeah, it gets tough at times doing a lot of these funerals. Believe me, it does. But somebody's got to do them. And it's just the honor to do them.
And I did hear that you guys didn't come in last Thursday, and that was one of the reasons. You just never know when you're going to get the call.
Funeral.
You were at a funeral, and that's respectable, and that I have to understand.
Another thing I want to say is my father-in-law passed away in early December, and he was a veteran. And some of the older nieces and nephews didn't even know what branch of service he was in. And, I asked my mother-in-law if we could perform this service, because it is the next of kin's decision if they do want these honors. And one line that we do say at our funerals is, "Let us not forget the sacrifices and the pain that they endured. Tell their children and grandchildren who they were and what they did for their country." So, we're
going to have to repeat that again. I need people to hear that again, please.
Let us not forget the sacrifices and pain that they endured. Tell their children and grandchildren who they were and what they did for their country.
And that's part of history. History that we all can take for granted at some point in time, but have something meaningful in their life as a grandchild, as a child, or even as a great-grandchild. Many years ago, I believe my mother used to say that her father or grandfather served the military, and they're from Mexico. So there was a connection there. So she understood that. And by you just saying that, can probably wake up somebody and say, wow, you're right. I believe we have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm just calling to thank you. I was trying to figure out how they knew my father was a vet, because they put a flag on his grave, on his casket. I was wondering how the funeral home knew that, and I realize now that it's volunteers like these men, this lady, they get that done for us, and I just want to say thanks.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in and sounding off here on WLTH. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. It's 50 minutes after the hour. I have a few more minutes, and I don't know if Coach is he coming off the air, on the air at all. Okay, well, we won't have Coach's Corners coming on with Coach Earl Smith. So we're listening to our D.O.D. passionate, compassionate people. And I believe that is something that's really much so missing nowadays in this world, is compassion. Well, I have a lot of compassion under this roof right now that too bad you're not here to feel it, because I'm feeling it. And when it's not about color, it's not about background where you come from, it's about what we all have, the same thing as we all carry, is that heart inside us. That heart does not define color, creed, religion, nationality, or any of that. That if any one of you went out there and served the military, I think that's something that is owed back to you. Am I right?
Yes.
And so that's why I said, when it was brought to my attention, because I see my brother running in back and forth doing stuff, and I'm like, okay, so is this something that you deal with everybody? Is it something that you just do because you're being called from the FOP or from the Legion that you belong to in Miller? From any Legion. Anyone that's a Legion member has something to do with military. Am I right, or am I wrong?
Yes.
Right.
Right. So if you are a soldier, a veteran, or a family member that has a veteran, when that time comes that God says is your time, don't forget that there's some service that's due to them, and you reach out to the D.O.D., but you let the funeral director know.
Yes.
That's the best way. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. That, hey, my grandfather, my father, my uncle, my brother, my sister, my son, my daughter, my grandson, my granddaughter,
My mother.
there you go, has died, served the military. Can you let the D.O.D. know?
I don't, I don't think that Harry went ahead and mentioned it, but in actually what we do, that there have been quite a few times that we actually take control of the whole funeral service, where there isn't clergy, and then we will step up and we will also do that.
There are times where people cannot afford funeral expenses. There are times where they're being laid for their services at a church. This is maybe an ideal place for you to come in, or in a gymnasium or somewhere, depending on who that is. I'm sure you got something to say, right, Harry?
Believe me, we have done funerals in houses.
Wow.
We've done them at churches,
Posts.
Legion posts, wherever the family has it, or the funeral director, they want it. As long as it's an honorably discharged veteran, we handle it. And we go. And the ones in the houses, were surprisingly amazing. The feedback we got from people was unbelievable, that we came to the house and did the funeral. And we had the active duty military with us. The Army was there from the National Guard. They folded to present, and we provided the firing teams and the bugler and the chaplain, and it worked out really good. But like I say again, it's the honor of doing it for the veterans.
You know, we're not all, it's not all about work either. We do share, we laugh, and we joke. One of the biggest jokes that we have, or they have on me, is that I am a very, very emotional person, and I get very wrapped up in every single funeral that I do. And I cry at a lot of them. I don't even know that the veteran that we're laying to rest, but I'm very emotional. They will not allow me to fold and to present the flag anymore, because they jokingly say that they don't want to go ahead and have tears on our flag as I present. So, but we do, it is just a tremendous camaraderie that we have.
And I just want to say something to all our veterans out there. If this is something that you can't handle, and it's not that you become calloused, you should seek volunteering with any other veteran organization. Me being a Legionnaire, I ask you to go to your local American Legion and see about membership there, because again, we do have strength in numbers, and we keep Congress from cutting our benefits for service that we did to our country.
Amen. And you are doing all this voluntarily.
Yes.
Yes.
But donations don't hurt, do they?
If somebody wants to make a donation, that's fine, but we don't solicit them. We're all volunteer, and it's just the honor to be doing it.
Just to get a
why
thank
we
you.
got into it.
Just a thank you.
A thank you, a hug, a smile.
Yes.
It's something that you can take with you for the rest
Worth
of your life.
millions and millions of dollars.
It's priceless, isn't it?
Priceless.
Priceless.
We want to thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for coming here to WLTH Radio. This is Sound Off with E.V.E. And this is something that you guys need to pay attention to. This is something that you have children that want to go to the military because they look at it as the easy way. They look at it as a free ride to education, because I know that some recruitment comes through the high schools to recruit your young children to go serve for the country. My opinion, when they said, well, I'm fighting for my freedom, that was back then, in my opinion. Now, some kids do it because, well, I can't afford financial aid, I can't afford student loans, and I'm going to go to the military because they will give me the ticket to education. But when government decides to deploy you, there goes education for that time being. And then if you are one of those that come back in those bags, then the parents, the relatives, the family think twice about the decision you made. But you too deserve something to be given back to you when it's time to bury you. And these gentlemen and lady that's here are there for that reason. And that's why I said people have to know what you guys are doing. You're not out there just because. Are you guys still doing the 21 gun salute or rifle salute?
Yes.
Yes.
Where did that name come from? Anyone? Is there a number 21 for a reason, or?
It's the 21 steps that the soldier takes at the Unknown Soldiers Memorial. At the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Washington, it's 21 steps across.
I mean, I knew there's a reason behind that number. There's a meaning.
But actually, we do not fire a 21-gun salute at graveside. We fire a volley of 3. A 21-gun salute is given to dignitaries, but in my opinion, every soldier is a dignitary.
That's right.
See, we can fire anywhere from 3 shooters to 8 max. Usually we're shooting 6 to 7, which gets you a 21-gun salute or 18 rounds. But your traditional VIPs is a full 21-gun salute, active military or diplomats. Those are 21-gun salute military status. We go out with who we got, and we give them what we can.
And you do what you can with what you have.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Right.
Well, thank you so much again for out of your busy schedule, and I will say thank God there was no funeral today, but
There
oh,
was.
there was. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, I spoke too soon. Well, thank you for saying you come here today, and I know that last Thursday you had a funeral, and I was warned that sometimes it just happens the day of, and you have to do what you got to do, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Because it all comes from the heart. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. Thank you so much for tuning in to this wonderful talk radio station that, remember that I keep it real with real issues, but more than anything, not just so much about issues, but with real people as we have here in the studio. Thank you again for coming and your busy schedules and for making that time.
Thank you for inviting us.
For having us.
Thank
You're
you.
quite welcome. Thank you again. Tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, so have a great evening. Continue to listen to WLTH Radio, the region's choice. Be safe out there. Be kind. Any last minute thing you guys want to say?
God bless America.
Amen. All right. With that, I'm going to leave you with Fallen Soldiers. Continue to listen to WLTH Radio.
Life is so real. This is for my fallen soldiers. We miss you. Although you got we with you. Camp on the battlefield. Life is so real. Yeah. As a little youth used to hang up on the corner. Me and the one of my friend them we up on some marijuana. Although enough of we never grew up with no father. Still we have to try the best to make it cross the border. But some boy show them big like Hulk Hogan. Come and chat, tell them we no listen slogan. We prefer dead before we take program. We no grow around, no, we no. This is for my fallen soldiers. We miss you. I know you can, we with you. Camp on the battlefield. Life is so real. This is for my fallen soldiers. We miss you. I know you can, we with you. Camp on the battlefield. Life is so real. Yeah, enough of them not like we. Them know them wrong and still I take it fight we. Kill off a friend and think me take it lightly. And the whole of no boy me a free. Hey, when I want a more funeral, no more burial. Stop behaving like wild animals. Get more spiritual, get more biblical. I'm gonna take a wash off over the mineral. You save your soul, you save yourself. While you rest in peace, so tell Jaja we need some help. For trying for the this is for my fallen soldiers. We miss you. I know you can, we with you. Camp on the battlefield. Life is so real. This is for my fallen soldiers. We miss you.